They have to defy. Once they see that we're not going to do that anymore, and that involves releasing the sanctions and stop beating up on Iranian students in the United States, which is absolutely as irrational and immoral as they're holding our hostages, then they'll release the hostages.
Former Attorney General Ramsey Clark in Paris. This is news from Mutual Radio. Martin Edwards reporting.
Are you looking for a better job, a faster-moving career, higher pay? Then look into the Wall Street Journal National Business Employment Weekly. Every week, its pages are loaded with the best business, technical, and professional positions in America. The Journal Employment Weekly keeps you on top of the national job market. It can open doors of opportunity in major corporations and fast-growing smaller businesses from coast to coast, so you'll be ready to move when the right spot opens up for you. If you're looking for a better job, then go to your newsstand right now and pick up a copy of the Journal Employment Weekly. If not yet available in your area, we'll send you the next 4 issues by first-class mail. Just send a check or money order for $10 to the Journal Employment Weekly, Box 300, Princeton, New Jersey, 08540. That's the Journal Employment Weekly, Box 300, Princeton, New Jersey. The National Business Employment Weekly. It's from the publishers of the Wall Street Journal. No one has more experience in helping you find a better job.
In Washington, Mayor Ed Koch of New York City told the Democratic Platform Committee on Friday that the administration and the Democratic-controlled Congress could be in difficulty come November. One of the mayor's complaints is too much government regulation, such as the demand that New York's transit system be overhauled to accommodate those in wheelchairs.
A congressional oversight committee estimated that if we were to retrofit the subway system and the bus system the way the Congress wants us to do it, each ride for someone in a wheelchair would cost $38. And the Congress isn't giving a single additional dollar for that. They're saying, do it out of your appropriations. Isn't that nuts? I think it's nuts.
Mayor Ed Koch of New York at the Democratic Platform hearings in Washington. Courtney Slater, the Commerce Department's chief economist, says in the government magazine Business America that a quick recovery from the recession can be made only if the Congress comes forth with a tax cut next year. Slater points out that taxes have taken a record bite out of American paychecks last year. Another member of Congress has been indicted in the so-called FBI abscam undercover investigation. He's Congressman John Jenrette, Democrat of South Carolina, who was named Friday by a federal grand jury in Washington in a 3-count indictment which lists bribery and conspiracy charges. You're listening to Mutual News.
This is Leonard Nimoy. Our story concerns itself with one man's battle with the greatest monster any of us will ever face in any arena, his conscience. Armando Paz, better known to the afición of all the countries of the world as El Encanto, was and is Batman. Before becoming El Encanto, the Enchanted One, he was usually called Armando, or a variety of other names usually reserved to describe a poverty-stricken stealer of oranges in southern Spain, or someone who loved the art of bullfighting so passionately that he would sneak into forbidden pastures and practice surviving the bull's deadly horns on moonless nights. Before Armando was El Encanto, he was nobody, and he never forgot it.
Torito Bravo. Such great, beautifully formed horns. So well armed by nature that you have only the monsters in this arena to fear. Eje. They force me to kill you. A profound symbol of freedom and strength. In order for them to experience the idea of death. You are real. They are shadows, screams, moans, creatures seeking second-hand reality. The sword sinks into the muscle of your great neck like butter, and your right horn grazes my groin as you make the last charge of your life. We are joined now in a warm blood. We are suspended in time for a second, and I feel the sensation of your horn slashing a pattern into my guts. I live. Your horns die. The screams of the monster that forces us to live on each other's blood is the same. Always the same.
And And that's only the beginning of our story.
Mutual Radio Theater, a new adventure in radio listening. 5 nights of exceptional entertainment every week. Brought to you in Elliott Lewis's production of the Mutual Radio Theater. Our story, Amando Paz, El Encanto, by Odie Hawkins. Our stars, Larry Moss, Tommy Cook, and Jack Crucian.
Mutual Radio Theater is being brought to you by the new Dell paperback bestseller, Comes the Blind Fury.
I'm not at all old-fashioned, except about my thirst. 'Cause when I need refreshment, old-fashioned taste comes first. One thing I can depend on when I get parched and dry, the taste of good old-fashioned lemonade, right in country time. Country time, country time. Tastes like that good old-fashioned lemonade.
Not too tart, not too sweet, with natural lemon flavor. Country Time lemonade flavored drink.
Tastes like that good old-fashioned lemonade.
Are you planning to travel overseas, or do you know someone who does? Hello there, this is Charlie Callis to tell you about Travel Pack, a free kit of helpful information from the U.S. Customs Service. Travel Pack includes a declaration form you can fill out as you shop to help keep tabs on your foreign purchases. So why fumble for receipts at the last minute? Get a Travel Pack before you go. Write Travel Pack, U.S. Customs Service, Washington, D.C. 20229, or ask your local travel agent.
If you're looking for a practical yet meaningful gift for graduation, for Father's Day, anniversaries, or other spring occasions, visit J.B. Robinson Jewelers, where you'll find a wide selection of dependable brands of watches like Pulsar. Pulsar means accuracy, dependability, and fine quality, all at a sensible price. You may want to choose a handsome Pulsar watch to lay away now while our selection is at its best. A small refundable deposit will hold a beautiful Pulsar watch or any piece of jewelry for you with no interest, no carrying charges at Robinson Jewelers. Ask about Robinson Jewelers' no-hassle layaway plan. And you know, you can't make a mistake at Robinson Jewelers because everything, diamonds, watches, all jewelry, bears Robinson's unconditional 6-week money-back guarantee. For a practical yet meaningful gift, see Robinson Jewelers for dependable name-brand watches like Pulsar. Robinson Jewelers. Larry Robinson speaking.
Save 40% on gold chains for Father's Day at Robinson Jewelers.
Life is not always easy. No one can dispute that. But how many of us face death each time we go to work?
Armando Paz, El Encanto, carved his noble name onto the hearts of the bullfight public today. Fighting 3 magnificent cathedrals from the ranch of Don Julio Belmonte, he offered an incredible display of cape work. Those critics who have accused El Encanto of being stingy with his cape work in the past would not have been able to make that complaint today. He expressed himself superbly in the opening movement by executing those statuesque passes that have justly earned him the nickname El Encanto. His movement from beginning to end was a logical, interwoven pattern that could only be called extravagant, but refined and above all, terribly elegant.
Armando, what is wrong? Don't you enjoy feeling about yourself anymore?
I never did. But that isn't something I've been able to make you understand.
Oh, according to you, I have never been able to understand a tremendous number of things.
Please, Mira, let's not argue. Come on. Sit down over here beside me. I'm tired of fighting.
Why are you so irritable these days?
I wasn't aware that I was behaving any differently
But
than...
you are. You used to be so relaxed, so at ease with life. I remember thinking when I first met you, is it possible that this man kills bulls for a living?
How long has it been, Mira? 3 years? 3 years is a long time to be El Encanto.
But it is a choice you made in life. Why do you take it out on me?
I'm not taking anything out on you.
But you are. You bring these depressing moods into our relationship. It unnerves me. It makes me feel that I am not doing something right, that I'm failing you in some way.
Who could know that better than you?
Why do you make these sly remarks, Armando? Have I not created a beautiful lifestyle for us? Have I not made your life pleasant?
Do you think that surrounding us with all of these things, that some kind of happiness will automatically occur? Sometimes I think I was happier when I had to steal oranges for a meal.
Armando, what do you want? I don't understand. The more you have, the less satisfied you become.
What the hell do you want? I want you, Mira. Amongst other things. You have me, Armando. That's not what I mean. So we are back to this again. Is that the way you think about it? See, Armando, I have told you 1,000 times, I am yours. But I must reserve the privilege to be my own person. Why must you feel that the people around you should belong to you, body and soul? That sounds like an odd question for someone to ask who surrendered her so-called freedom for 500,000 pesetas. Are you a great one to talk? Think of how much of yourself you surrendered this afternoon for money. Think about how it feels like even the possibility of being gored in the thigh, in the stomach, the armpit, maybe the arm. For money. No, not for money, Mira. I go to the bulls because I am called. I am forced. I don't understand when you say things like this. You are called to fight the bulls? I don't know if it would be possible to explain what that means to someone who only thinks in terms of supply and demand. Armando, for once, just for once, rather than trying to talk over my head, why don't you try to explain? Perhaps I can understand. You really want me to try to explain, huh? See, I'm very curious. All right, I'll try. But first, we must place ourselves outside of this petty conversation. I never engage myself in petty conversations. You asked me to explain something to you. If you want that explanation, you must be patient and listen to it. See, go on. Good. I must explain to you what I know, what I feel in my own words. Because I haven't read the words of the people who write about my art. And as a man, I am nothing. Nada. I am like other men, but as a creature who confronts death in the shape of a bull many times each season, I am El Encanto. I do not quite understand. I told you you wouldn't understand. But I did not say for you to stop. Should I go on then? See, of course, go on. I am a sacrifice, you see, to a spirit in our world that is older than religion. It is older than my Uncle Juan. Is there such a thing? Yes. I'm sorry. I did not mean... I understand, dear. I understand. Pour us some more wine. See. There. Our best Jerez. Now, please, go on. I say that I am a sacrifice to a spirit older than religion. Now, this is true. The spirit is fear. And I am used by the afición, by the public, to overcome something that they do not want to confront. Death. I am the woman who... You are the what? I know it sounds incredible, but in a way, symbolically, I am the woman in the pretty clothes, flirting with a supreme symbol of manhood, using the capote and muleta as fans. And yet, every man in the arena identifies himself with me. I wish Jose Flores could hear you now. Jose knows this already. It is what makes his afición so great. I see. I can understand all of this. I can understand all of what you say, except for the part where you say you are forced to fight the bulls. But it is true. It is my calling. If I did not do it, someone else would have to do it, and they probably would not do it half as well. So, you think of yourself as some kind of a priest, eh? I spoke of myself as a sacrifice, not a priest. Armando, you are an incredible man. Incredible. But you would not recognize reality if it gored you between the eyes. I guess it is my turn not to understand you. What are you talking about? I ask you a simple question that only concerns money, and you give me a lot of mystical nonsense about fear, about death. Why can't you make yourself understand that you are giving the public a thrill that they could get in no other way? I hope that isn't true. But it is true.
That is why the Mexicanos are willing to pay you so much to see a fight between you and Ramon Garcia. What will you feel now? The money will be fantastic.
Mira, you are hopeless. No matter what we talk about, we always come back to the same thing, money.
Well, what else offers so many options?
Sir, I'm here at JFK Airport to ask about foreign vacations.
I can't talk about it. It was terrible.
Well, gosh, you have a great tan, sir, and your wife there, she looks spectacular. You must have had a great time.
I must have.
It was your fault, Harry. You had to try to bring back the bird egg.
It was so embarrassing.
Thank you, sir. And what was the high point of your foreign vacation, ma'am?
Well, it wasn't when the agricultural inspector confiscated the carton of steaks Harry blew all that money on.
That must have been very exciting.
He took away my teddy bear stuffed with straw.
Oh, sir, why would he do that?
I don't know.
I know, because certain foods, plants, and animal products are restricted or prohibited.
Oh?
Why, they could bring a disease or pest to the U.S. that could cause an epidemic.
Gosh.
Even just one could.
Myrtle, did you say pest?
Uh-huh.
He confiscated a pest?
Yes.
Then why didn't he confiscate you, Myrtle?
Even one can hurt, right for traveler's tips.
A free booklet that tells you the law. Write Traveler's Tips, USDA, Washington 20250.
I'll bet my teddy misses me.
When the boys at Weinberg Military Academy were informed that no movie producer in the world wanted to tell their story, they didn't get even. They got mad. And now, from the madman who started it all, Mad Magazine presents Up the Academy, the motion picture that blows the hinges off the doors of Weinberg Military Academy to reveal the Weinberg student body.
Oh, no!
Up the Academy, the comedy that's utterly mad. Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parents.
Now showing at specially selected theaters and drive-ins all over town, one near you. Metro Exhibitors.
DOC announces an incredible offer. For a limited time, you'll get free frames when you buy prescription lenses. Not just any frames, but your choice from a wide selection of men's, women's, and children's regular and fashion frames. And right now at DOC, Bausch & Lomb and AO Soft lenses are just $79. Care kit and professional fees not included. Remember, free frames and soft lenses for just $79. Now at DOC. But hurry, before you know it, the offer will be over.
Offer expires Saturday, June 21st.
Going back and forth in time, we are quite often able to take mental pictures, emotional glances at our heroes, especially those of yesterday, as these men are doing, and as they remember and wonder.
Tell me, Senor Cody, what do you think of the festival this year, huh?
Oh, I've seen better.
Oh, I like that in you. One who has always seen better. It gives you a great opportunity to avoid dealing with the present and very often with the recent past. It offers you a great deal of safety, doesn't it?
Would you say that running in front of the bulls yesterday morning was the way to safety? The annual test of bravery.
Please, do not misunderstand, Senor Cody.
Please, Ernest.
Ah, thank you, Ernest. Understand me. I do not doubt your courage, only your judgment, especially when we concern ourselves with the quality of this year's festival as compared to those of past years.
Obviously, the same could be said about the Matadores.
Clearly. Oh, waiter. More shrimp and beer for my amigo from America.
I know what you're getting at, Senor Flores.
Oh, please, you may call me Jose.
Jose. I know what you're getting at. Since we occupied this table 3 days ago, you've been trying to get me to say that Armando Paz was, and is, if he was still fighting, the best that ever used the flannel.
Perhaps.
Salute.
Salute.
Are you saying that I should forget about the great bullfighters in history, Manuel Rodriguez, Manolete, Joselito, Cagancho, Procuna, on a good day, Arusa?
Well, not completely, but I have to say this honestly. On a good day, El Encanto would have given them all the bath. Oh, he was unique, absolutely alone on the face of the planet in his perfection.
With a plate of such excellent shrimp in front of us, Senor Jose.
Thank you.
I would find it very difficult to disagree too strongly with you. But aren't we forgetting someone?
Oh, who's that?
Ramon Garcia. Soberano.
Oh, him.
Well, it was generally conceded by most knowledgeable bullfight fans that the matchup they fought in Mexico was a classic example of a lesser-known talent giving the master a taste of the medicine he used to offer.
Well, that's not true. I should know. I was there. Allow me to take the liberty of giving you the truth. That is, if you were not there yourself.
Well, I wasn't there. I was covering a war at the time.
Oh, that was unfortunate, because you were not present at an event that will always be a part of bullfighting history. I will tell you what happened.
Before you begin, waiter, 2 more of the same, please.
As I am sure you recall, there had been a great deal of agitation from the Garcia people for a face-to-face match, a mano-a-mano. There were many who felt that El Encanto was, how do you say in English, coasting.
Oh, yes, coasting, taking it easy.
Yeah, I could never agree with that point of view. If you went to the corrida and saw Armando Paz, you were present at an event that carried extraordinary emotion. True, it lacked authentic competition, except for that fancy Dan Garcia, but he never coasted. The bulls would not permit it.
Why was the fight held in Mexico?
For the usual reason, my friend. Money. The Mexican impresario Vargas made a fantastic offer, as I understand it. At any rate, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a warm day in the Plaza Mexico.
Matador Armando, be careful with this one. He hooks like a boxer with his left horn and looks smart enough to know Latin.
Run him again, Juan. Show me how he moves.
But we have already.
I said again.
Are you the Matador or am I? You are, Armando. You are.
There were also a number of disloyal pipes who felt that Armando was not only coasting, but that he had lost his nerve. The urge to fight the bulls.
You used to ask me, Juanito, has there ever been another one like me? And you give me the truth, old man. I guess at 40 to his 20, I did seem old. I know you've seen them all. Am I not unique in this art? I laughed at the arrogance of the Greek. But I always cautioned him about making comparisons. Every great matador is a divine manifestation of grace under pressure, created to purge us ordinary people of certain emotional problems. They are priests, these men, ones who perform honestly and with a strong sense of justice.
My manager, what a shrewd uncle that one was. He had bribed every major bullfight critic in Spain to promote the fight between El Encanto and myself. He had schemed in ways that I would not like to discuss, even at this point in time. He did whatever was necessary to get me into the ring with El Encanto, and it was one of the great lessons in my life. The opening pass with the capote was Armando's strong point. The pass is called a Veronica, supposedly named after a woman who wiped the sweat from the brow of our Lord on his way to be crucified. No one but Armando Paz could capture the tenderness of that emotion with his cape. That uncle had something sacred in him.
The bulls were what you would call in English flag bulls.
Toros banderas.
Yes, toros banderas. Each one as large as this room, armed with horns as wide as your arms spread, faster than a racehorse over a short distance, and filled with a violent belief that he was the god of all that his strength and horns could encounter. Oh, senor, real bulls. Real bulls!
The beauty of his movement, the way in which he wrapped himself in his cape as he took his first bull away from the picador with the chiquilines, the cape flapping gracefully from one side to the other, almost caused me to applaud. I knew I would have to dig deeply into myself for the performance needed to match his, if I wanted to have more contracts for the following season.
The first one, Churro, made a treacherous stab as Armando was making his last pass at the quite, slashing and jabbing with his left horn as Armando went down.
Poor blind Amanda Carson. It's taken so long to get back to Paradise Point, to her parents' house, to the high rocky cliff where 100 years ago she was murdered.
Stay away! I won't!
Reaching across time itself comes the blind fury. From the master of terror, John Saul, author of Cry for the Strangers, comes the blind fury, a new Dell paperback bestseller.
Employers have been asking the President's Committee on Employment of the Handicapped a lot of questions about the affirmative action for the handicapped. Here's one.
I'd like to recruit handicapped people, but I don't know where to turn.
Try your local public employment office, rehabilitation office, sheltered workshops, and organizations of the handicapped. The record shows handicapped people are can-do people. They can do for you. A message from the President's Committee on the Handicapped.
Most people say that the bullfight has 3 basic parts, and some say thousands of pieces. But all agree that death is always a prime ingredient for both the bull and the man.
Juan Pelé, Armando's peón de confianza, the oldest, the most experienced member of his quadrilla, saved him from a serious goring with one bold slap on the bull's nose. Oh, I have never seen a man move toward danger with such courage. Armando calmly picked himself up and rewarded Juan with a series of chicolines antiguas that stole the breath from us. It was like watching a butterfly avoid the rush of a 2-ton truck.
It was as though the bull Churro, sensing that my mind was far away from the arena, far from the monstrous appetite of the crowd, dumped me onto the sand and threatened my life to remind me of what I was and what our purpose for being there was. I thanked Juan and Churro with one of the most grateful passes I could think of, the Chicuelina Antigua.
The complaint has always been made.
See, that there was not one to do a 3-ring circus full of passes.
Yes, not many beyond the basic.
Yes, I have heard that. And it was true on this occasion also. But we must make the distinction between the matador who only knows a few passes and the master who weaves a spell with a few threads.
My blood turned to fire when they began to scream for Armando to place his own banderillas. They knew it was something he never did. But on this occasion, he snatched the sticks from my hand, anger showing in his eyes at being asked to do so.
The elegance with which he broke the sticks in half on the barrera, the fence around the ring, strolled to the center of the arena as though heaven belonged to him and earth was too dirty for him to place his feet on, is something I shall never forget. You know how critical the Mexicanos can be when they judge the placement of the sticks. I mean, after all, they have a Malito Chico, Carnicerito de Mexico, Procuna and Arusa, among others to look back to. And this Sunday, Armando Paz, El Encanto, was added to that list. I cannot say more.
Old men sitting in the places where bullfighting is discussed, such as this. See, in such places as this, throughout the world, will always speak of those 3 pairs of banderillas. In Mexico, they are called El Encanto sticks, Los Palos del Encanto. He placed 1 pair standing on the street that circles the barrera. He placed another pair blind, that is to say, he sighted the bull for a charge, stood like a statue, and at the last second, faked to his left and dipped the shortened sticks into the bull's neck while looking up at me. At you? Well, it seemed that way. It is an emotion that I later discussed with others. They say that they also felt that he was looking at them. Now, I am embarrassed to admit that my eyes were closed and I did not witness the last pair. He sighted the bull, turned his back, and I am told by those who had the strength to watch, faked the bull to the right side of his body and, as the bull swept under his right armpit, placed the sticks.
Oh, that's impossible.
Why, no! As I said, I could not watch. I was so certain that the horn would be slammed into his back.
I have to smile even now when I think back to the dedication speech I made to Mira for Churro. Those who were close enough to hear my words to her at the barrera, they could not believe their ears. I could tell from the shock that their faces registered. I said to her, to you, Mira Duran, I would like to dedicate this noble animal. I would like to dedicate it to you as a true representative of the beast that forces me to fight, to kill, to bleed, and maybe someday to die. I remember the words of the dedication because I had rehearsed them for 2 days. Mira thanked me for my words with her usual cynical smile. His domination of the bull was masterful. I have seen them all, the best. But this was like seeing it for the first time. At one point, as he dropped the bull's head with a left-handed natural and led the animal's face into the folds of the flannel, I had the illusion of seeing a man open a garden gate in slow motion. And during the course of his movement, as he slowly left the bull poised in one spot with a dazzling remate, he turned to us with a grave expression as though to say, I am doing this for you. I, an Encanto, the only one in the world able to do this. I hated him, and I loved him. I am told that a new record for fainting was set in the Plaza Mexico during the course of España. I found him a strange creature to watch. It all appeared to be a dream, the manner in which he led the bull past his body in a series of dream-like patterns as he casually studied the reactions of his audience. For long, slow moments, as he worked closer and closer to the horns, I felt myself being drawn into a brotherhood, one that only a few men on earth were privileged to join.
You would not believe it. The stupid women who fainted in the plaza. And it was not much better than the men's side. See, of course, he was great. But couldn't they see he was simply playing on their emotions?
You know, there was this odd thing that we all understood about Armando, that he hated to maim the kill, which, after all, is the final function of the
Matador, the killer of bulls.
Yeah, exactly. We understood this about him. But in some strange way, this reluctance to kill made him a better killer.
Whoa, now wait a minute. You gotta ease that one past me again. I missed something.
Well, you see, his reluctance to kill made him want to do it and have done with it quickly. He was not one to hesitate when the moment arrived.
The moment of truth. That becomes an hour for some.
But never for Armando. Oh, he was a surgeon with the blade. The moment of truth was only for a moment. Some invisible force pressed upon my shoulders as Churro staggered to his knees. I found myself kneeling in front of his horns, crying. As his blood spilled onto the sand, I felt some mysterious power was draining me. Somehow I could see myself through the bull's dying eyes. Armando the Rascal, they called me at one point. The thief of the orange groves. The crazy one who stalked full-grown bulls in the pastures at midnight with a torn shirt. I had never questioned what my role in life should be, what I might become, other than a bullfighter. And with Churro, I found myself asking that question.
People around me were out of their minds.
Churro was an unbelievable experience. I witnessed it, but I didn't believe my eyes. I also witnessed Armando's third-rate performance with the two bulls that followed. During the course of his first fight, he had been a god. A god, do you understand? And then, nothing, nada. With the two bulls that followed, he made stiff, half-hearted cape work. His rhythm was jerky. I cannot describe the filth that was screamed at him. The public felt that he was cheating them. During the course of his first fight, I had been put in the shade. Now I walked in the sun. I showed them which one was number one.
It was unbelievable, truly. After having done so much with his first bull, one would think he was going to tear up the Taurian world with the next. It was not so.
To put it bluntly, Armando blew it in Mexico. He showed all of the signs that the afición needed to know that he was washed up. I don't know what happened to him. What does it matter? I will always be accused of causing him to make a poor showing, no matter what. So, es la vida, no?
Do you know how many books written today have titles that start with the words how to?
Sure. How to lose weight, how to make a fortune, win new friends, and on and on.
Well, how about one that tells how to safeguard your children's eyesight through early and regular examinations?
How to protect your family's eyes against injury in sports, at work, in school, and at home through the use of protective eyewear.
How to guard against glaucoma through more frequent eye exams after age 35.
And how cataracts can be successfully corrected by surgery.
The National Society to Prevent Blindness says that knowledge of how to guard against blindness is something every family should be informed about, because after all, half of all blindness can be prevented.
How to find out more about the preventable side of blindness. Write Prevent Blindness, 79 Madison Avenue, New York, New York, 10016. They wrote the book.
That's Prevent Blindness, 79 Madison Avenue, New York, New York, 10016.
Es magnífica.
The reaction has been no less enthusiastic wherever the baton of Maestro Antal Durati has led our world-class Detroit Symphony Orchestra. Few other cities have produced a symphony orchestra as accomplished or acclaimed. A world-class tribute to the people of Michigan who have lent their support in the past. Audiences throughout metropolitan Detroit, the United States, and Europe hope you will continue that generous support again this year. Make a sound investment. The Detroit Symphony Orchestra, Ford Auditorium, Detroit, Michigan, 48226.
Leonard Nimoy again, and here's the fourth act of El Encanto, the story of Armando Paz, Matador.
I could never explain it, what had happened to him. He became a man at war with himself. He dragged me around with him nightly into and out of the lowest dives of the city. He drank too much.
More wine for us, for my friend Juan, for me,
Armando, come, let us go home. We've had enough.
Yeah, you're right, Juanito. What sense does it make if we'll only be sorry later for it?
It was even rumored that he betrayed me with a dancer, Teresa Albatin. Oh, if I had found it to be true, I would have clawed her eyes out, and his.
Many of us in the profession thought that he had cut the coleta, as we say, you know, that he had retired.
Yes, that is true. I have to admit it. I, José Bienvida Flores, aficionado número uno, fell into the trap of believing that Armando was how shall I say it, washed up, if one had to be blunt about it, yes. I believed with many others that he was washed up a memory. And then, one morning, an announcement mysteriously appeared on the poster walls of the city. The announcement was that he would fight bulls from 6 of the greatest ranches in España. A Mirura from Cabrera, a Paro Romero, a Domecq, one from De Los Gallardo, Vista Hermosa, and a Vista Villar. Soccer suddenly seemed much less important than usual.
I have to admit that I went to see him prepared to see someone who had once been great make a fool of himself. It was a real puzzle in my mind as to why he needed 6 super bulls to show the world how bad he had become.
They were all mistaken. I had no need to prove anything. After my fight with Chura, there could not have been anything else. He was the bull of my life. He was also, in some rare way, the germ of a feeling that I'd always concealed from myself. His death was my awakening, in the manner of speaking.
Armando acted, well, let us say, different towards me after Mexico. I cannot explain exactly what I felt in words. I could reach him no longer. Do you understand what I'm saying? We had always had differences of opinion, even from the beginning, but this was different. He was different. He would stay out half the night and go to the church next morning, every morning. It was like living with a person in two different worlds. I thought perhaps it was the Gemini in him, you know, the divided personality coming out.
I made a decision. The decision was to give the boys one last chance. There were those who didn't understand. Mira didn't understand. Well, but she never understood me very well anyway. Others called my decision arrogance or madness. I didn't feel it necessary to explain anything to them. I made my selection from the best ranchers because I was the best. And I wanted to fight the best one last time.
There was a slight breeze moving through the city on the day of the fight, but in the arena it was like a hurricane. The worst that could happen on the day of the fight, the wind. Armando joked about it.
A little fresh air to blow the cigar smoke and cheap perfume out of the arena, eh, Juan?
As a member of the profession, I tried to put myself in his position. I couldn't. I didn't want to see him gored or killed, but I was impatient for the fight to begin, for the public to see that Armando was a has-been.
Oh, the bulls. They were beautiful monsters. There is no other word I could use to properly describe them. Each one was fully grown, well-muscled and armed with horns that seemed to have room for cradles in between the tips. And he fought them with the cold, elegant charm that had made him famous. There was an element of something magical in what he did that afternoon. With the wind and the danger of his cape or his muleta misbehaving, there were times when it seemed that the only possible development from what he was doing had to result in tragedy. But it did not. He ignored the wind and the cynicism of the crowd, and he offered himself to the bulls. Pedrecinas on his knees, morenetes, manoletinas, afaralados with the left and the right hand, movements with his signature on them. He dedicated the bull to 5 other persons beside myself. Oh, I treasure the experience of having witnessed his triumph. It was almost religious.
He fought 6 of the most dangerous bulls in his family, in the world. And he gave the money to charity. Can you imagine risking your life for nothing?
It was done. I had offered the best of them a chance and survived. I could go onward to what I knew would be a more satisfying life. A life that would grant my soul peace.
The conclusion of our story after this word.
Dad, my skin is all itchy.
You have a rash. Dear, do we have anything for Amy's rash?
Uh-huh. Cordaid.
Cordaid?
Cordaid, the new hydrocortisone cream.
What I used for my eczema.
And what I used for my dermatitis.
Cordaid.
Cordaid also gives temporary relief for poison ivy, insect bites, and other itches and rashes. And I can use it too. Yes, even for you, Amy. For skin irritation, itches, and rashes. Cordaid's the one.
A new breakthrough. Cordaid with hydrocortisone. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Cordaid. Read and follow label directions.
In the South, VISTA volunteers are working on farm cooperatives with subsistence farmers to develop more productive ways to farm the land. In northern cities, volunteers spend long hours with inner-city residents who are learning new ways to bring life to dying neighborhoods. They're VISTAs, volunteers in service to America. They're working to show that in numbers, people can have a voice in making the decisions that affect their lives. Put yourself where you're needed. Call 800-424-8580. A public service of this station and Action.
Right
Right now, until September 6th, every time you visit A&P, you'll get a chance to win up to $1,000. It's old-fashioned bingo, the game with 122,330 prizes, worth up to $250,000 in cash. There's no purchase necessary, so anyone 18 or older can enter at any one of the 82 A&P stores in Michigan and Angola, Indiana. And, of course, the more often you play, the better your chances to win up to $1,000 at A&P. Based on one weekly visit for 13 weeks, your odds of winning range from 1 in 9 to win $1 to 1 in 32,051 to win $1,000. Visit A&P or see our newspaper ads for further details. So check it out. And remember, old-fashioned bingo is only at A&P, where you have a chance to win up to $1,000 every time you visit.
Each of us has to face life somehow. Some of us only do it in the mirror, at the surface. Armando Paz went much deeper.
They scream for blood! For blood! Blood! No, stop! Stop it! Are you all right?
Yes. I'm all right, Father.
What was it? The bulls again, Father Paz?
No, not the bulls, Father. The crowd. It's never the bulls that cause me to have nightmares. It's always the crowd, the memory of the crowd. And what a monster it was. From time to time, I have this horrible dream of them charging me. All together, the crowd charging me, howling, screaming at me.
I understand what you mean, Father Paz. I must admit, I have been an aficionado all my life, and I recognize the beast you speak of.
Yes.
Shall we go to chapel to pray?
Yes. Yeah, I think that is a very good idea. I would like to give thanks for having escaped from the horns of the bulls and the public.
Father Paz, I have wanted to ask you, what do you think of this rivalry between Ramon Garcia Soberano and Diego Ordonez?
Well, I would like to say, to begin with, that neither of them is as good, well, Lord forgive me for my modesty, as good as I was. Ramon, with his great ego, shows...
What's in a name? Well, it takes a lot of fine names to make Sears names stand for quality. Names you've always counted on, like Kenmore, Craftsman, Easy Living, and Die Hard. Names that kids and moms cheer, like Winnie the Pooh and Toughskins. Names that are a part of your life today, like Permapress, Klingalon, and Winter 2. And, of course, there's Sears' best products in everything from T-shirts to tractors. What's in a name? Well, it takes a lot of truly dependable names to make our name. Sears, Roebuck and Company.
I have agreed. Ignition sequence. 1 day. 3. This season will rise from liftoff. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo 11. They got an invading army from the planet. This is Orson Welles to assure you that the War of the Worlds has no further significance than as the holiday offering.
General Eisenhower informs me that the forces of Germany have surrendered to the United Nations.
America. It speaks for itself. From the Freedom's Foundation at Valley Forge.
Directed by Stanley Kubrick, starring Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall. Newsweek calls The Shining the first epic horror film.
The New York Times, heart-stopping, a spellbinding horror film. Time magazine, daring, legend on the highest level.
Playboy, sheer terror. I forgot to breathe for 10 minutes at a time. Blood-curdling. The Shining, based on the novel by Stephen King. Screenplay by Stanley Kubrick and Diane Johnson. The Shining, from Warner Brothers. Rated R. Under 17, not addicted by parents.
I am the
Early signing is now showing at specially selected theaters everywhere. Check your daily newspaper for theaters and showtimes. Metro Exhibitors.
The Mutual Radio Theater is brought to you 5 nights a week at this time. Tonight's original radio play, Armando Paz, El Encanto, was written by Odie Hawkins and produced and directed by Elliott Lewis. Your host was Leonard Nimoy. Our stars were Larry Moss, Tommy Cook, and Jack Crucian. Featured in the cast were Stan Waxman, Lillian Baev, and Don Diamond. The music for Radio Theater was composed and conducted by Nelson Riddle. John Harlan speaking. Associate Director of Mutual Radio Theater is Ken McManus. Sound effects were created by Bud Tollefson. Mark Trellis, production supervisor. Recording engineer, Hal McDonald. Music editor, Lee Ringette. The Elliott Lewis production of Mutual Radio Theater is a presentation of CDI.
Mutual Radio Theater has been brought to you by Sears, a name that means quality and value. A name that you can count on for service and dependability. Sears, where America shops for value. This is Lorne Green. Listen in on Monday for another story about the West, as it was then, as it is now.
The Mutual Radio Theater is heard every night, Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. right here on WNIC-AM 13. And if you enjoy our radio theater, we'd like to hear from you. Your comments are important to us and to the continuation of the radio theater. Please send your comments to Ed Christian, Executive Vice President and General Manager, WNIC, Box 1310 Dearborn, 48124. And listen tomorrow night, or I should say listen Monday night at 10 p.m. for another adventure on the Mutual Radio Theater right here on WNIC AM 13, the best play in town.
New York's Mayor Ed Koch has told Democratic platform writers unless the party backs more aid for the cities and a massive program to help ease unemployment, the Republicans are likely to win the White House in November. Meanwhile, Ronald Reagan met with GOP National Chairman Bill Brock in Los Angeles. Reagan later told reporters that Brock is staying on. However, he has named his Pennsylvania Chairman Drew Lewis as deputy chairman. The Agriculture Department says food stamp recipients will not be receiving the normal cost of food increase this July. The move, they say, will save taxpayers $133 million. South Africa's Prime Minister has slapped a nationwide ban on all political demonstrations. This apparently to head off demonstrations this weekend on the 4th anniversary of the riots in the black ghetto of Soweto, in which over 600 people died. The crisis in Delhi, Louisiana is over. 1,500 residents can return to their homes because a derailed railroad tank car carrying deadly chlorine gas has been righted and towed out of town. This is Robert Burns for Mutual Lifestyle Reports.
Turtle Extra. Car wax that gives you more than just a shine. Turtle Extra. There's more than sunshine and raindrops out there. Howling wind, bitter cold, fierce heat, mud, pollution. To protect against all that, you need Turtle Extra. The extra protection of polymers, the extra durability of silicones give you extra hard shell protection. Probably more protection than you'll ever need. Turtle Extra. Extra hard shell. Turtle Extra.
Oh, my man. We're English leather, a scent that's crisp and clean.
A man can get that crisp, clean scent in English leather cologne, aftershave, stick deodorant, shave cream, or in a handsome English leather gift set.
We're English leather, or nothing.
In Vero Beach, Florida, the female companion of a married man who died of cancer 2 years ago has been awarded part of his estate in her lawsuit against the man's wife and brothers. The jury decided that Richard DeTullio's promise of security for Drina Jackson and his deathbed instructions to his brothers constituted an oral contract guaranteeing her 1/5 of his estate. Drina picked up $187,000 as her share and $10,000 in damages against the brothers who failed to carry out the instructions. Italian financier Michaela Sindona has been sentenced to 25 years in jail and fined $207,000 for bank fraud. The charges stem from his control and operation of New York City's Franklin Bank that went under back in 1974. Well, neither rain nor sleet nor the House Appropriations Committee will keep the mailman from making his appointed rounds on Saturdays. The panel has defied a congressional budget directive approving $500 million for Saturday mail deliveries. The full House will vote on the bill next week. The racketeering trial of 18 Hells Angels has gone to the jury in San Francisco federal court 1 year after the motorcycle gang members were indicted. Judge Samuel Conte has ordered the jury of 5 women and 7 men sequestered in a hotel until they reach a verdict. This is Robert Burns for Mutual Lifestyle Reports.